Today marks my 6th business birthday, and I just honestly cannot believe that it's already been 6 years. So I am very excited to be sitting down with you today and not only getting to share the celebration with you, but also just getting to share the behind the scenes into the investments that I've made and just the different things that I've done in my business that I know for sure have gotten me this far in 6 years and have just made my business the success that it is. 6 years ago, when I first started this business, sitting at the little desk in the studio apartment that I lived in after I had just literally moved my life from the United States to Germany, I started as a virtual assistant. I really had no long-term plan. I just knew that I wanted a life of freedom and to work for myself and to use my creativity in a way that felt good for me. And so, yeah, now here I am 6 years later, and it's turned it into a whole entire content repurposing business, working with clients all around the world. And so really, yeah, when I look back at, okay, what did Anna do 6 years ago? What did she do 3 years ago? Like, what have I done throughout this journey? There really are specific key points that I know have made a big difference in the level that I'm at today. So if you are a business owner, if you are starting your business, if you're starting a business as a virtual assistant or you're looking to scale your business, I hope that these tips help you. To start out, I will share the investments that I've made. However, these are not like crazy expensive investments. I don't think that you need to spend a shit ton of money to be a successful business owner, but I do think there are things that you do need to invest in to be seen as that next level of business owner, and that you aren't just someone who like does this as a side hustle type of thing. So to start out with the investments that I made, this actually was the course that I took that took me into becoming a VA. So I took a course called 90 Day VA. It's from a fabulous virtual assistant mentor and just like an online business scaling mentor. Her name's Esther Inman. And I started that course back in 2019, and it took me about 6 months or so to go through it because I was doing it while I was working full time as well. So for me, it was like my 6 to 9, so to say, that I was doing in the evening. So it took me longer than 90 days to do it. But that course not only taught me the skills that I needed to become a virtual assistant, it taught me podcast management, social media management, email marketing, website design, like any kind of skill that a business owner is looking for when they're trying to outsource to a virtual assistant. And I loved that because it taught me such a wide range of services that I then was able to do those services for a while before I was like, okay, this is what I feel like my specialty is. This is what I'm finding most business owners need help with. And then that was how I landed onto content repurposing. But not only did it teach me the tangible skills that I needed, it also taught me how to be a business owner. So she goes through invoicing and how to send an invoice and the payment platforms that you should be using. It goes through contracts and what you should include in your contract. It goes through pricing and how to land on your rates, like everything that you need to know behind the scenes. Taxes, that's a big one as well. Like you put together a portfolio while you're going through it. That way, once you start finding jobs or clients that you want to work with, you aren't just like presenting to them nothing and being like, oh, I'm starting from scratch and you're like taking a big risk on me. No, you actually have like a full portfolio of work that you were doing through each of the modules. So then once you get to the end of it, you have a wonderful portfolio that you can be presenting to clients, a beautiful resume as well, so they know that you are a legit virtual assistant. That is something that had I not have done that, I know I wouldn't be where I am today because one, I wouldn't have stumbled upon being a virtual assistant, but I don't think it would have set me up for like true business owner success because I would have just been like winging so many different things. And I don't think that would have made me look professional and look like someone that other business owners should be investing in. Kind of along that line is coaching. And there's a big caveat to this because I have made a lot of coaching investments in my business. Now, like looking back, I don't know that I agree with every single one of those investments that I made. However, I do think there is a lot of value in having like a cheerleader on your side or someone that you can look up to and someone who can kind of like guide you through different levels and different seasons that you're going through. And so there are 2 coaching relationships that I've had that I know have made such a big difference in my business. The big help for me was when I decided to niche fully into content repurposing and I was letting go of the virtual assistant side of my business and I wanted to like plant my flag in the ground, do my website, do everything to be like Anna Schild as a content repurposer, I had a lovely coach who guided me through that whole process. She helped me make a freebie online. She helped me like rewrite how my website was going to be. She helped me put together an offer. She helped me put together what my title was, how I was going to launch it online to social media. She was such a big help, and I really appreciated that because I would have just stayed stuck in my head so much, rethinking instead of taking action. Just realize that like it totally is okay to ask for support, whether that is with pricing, putting your services together, refining your processes, like all the different things that you need to do to have a sounding business. Make sure that you for sure like research into the coaches and people that you're seeing online. If there's someone that you really vibe with that you think can give you the results that you're looking for, I do think that there is value in that. The number one honest investment that I know is still lasting me to this day, and I don't think I ever will change, is my branding. And I worked with a brand designer. I went with a branding VIP day type of thing to where she just helped me through it during the day. And I had my whole everything that you see today got delivered to me and created to me. And the reason why I did it like that is because I think, at least in my opinion, with being an online service provider, I didn't need a bunch of like physical branding materials or like product materials. So if you are someone with a different type of business, you might need like a full scope of things. For me, this was such a big confidence boost because when I first started out as a virtual assistant, my branding was these muted colors of purple and blue and green. And I did get a lot of compliments on my branding. I had people who would reach out to me and they'd be like, when I come to your page and I come to your website, I just feel so calm, and that's how I want to feel. However, once I fully niche into content repurposing and felt so much more confident in my skill set, vibe, and service that I wanted to provide to my clients, I definitely wanted to have a little bit more of a luxury feel and a bit more of a fun feel because I wanted my brand to represent me. So I love my branding now. I think I did this back in 2021, 2022. So I was about like a year and a half into my business when I got my branding done. And it made me feel so much more confident in how I show up because I could tell for real once my branding started to feel out of alignment. I didn't want to show up online. It sounds so silly, but like I didn't want to create social media posts and market to myself because I was like, I don't have fun creating these anymore. This doesn't feel like me anymore. And I had spent so much time going back and forth, like trying to rebrand it myself and trying myself to come up with, okay, what is this vibe? How does this vibe like look like tangibly? Like what I have in my head? How do I get this down on paper? And I'm not a branding designer, so I couldn't figure that out for myself. But that has made such a big difference. It's still the same branding that I use today, and I feel it has done such a wonder for me and my business and has translated into a beautiful website, and all these different ways that I'm able to utilize my brand, not just on social media. Once I had my branding for my business fully redone, and I was like, oh my gosh, it feels so freaking good to show up. I love how I'm presenting myself in my business. This feels like me. I was like, okay, then maybe I need to have professional photos that go along with that because I always have so much fun with my husband taking pictures of me. He does a fabulous job at doing our little mini photo shoots. But for my website and like showing up as that more luxury service provider, I was like, okay, I don't want these to just be pictures that my husband has taken of me, like in random different bits. Like I want to have a true photo shoot. And that also was just such a big confidence boost. I found a local photographer who I really vibed with, and she helped me put together my outfit. We put together a Pinterest board of a bunch of different shots, and we had so much fun during that shoot. We went to this hotel in Cincinnati that was such a vibe, and we ended up having so much fun. We only had planned for like being there an hour, maybe 90 minutes or something, taking photos, and we literally were there all night long having so much fun, taking so many pictures. And I still am obsessed and love those photos to this day. I still have them on my website. You'll realize through the things that I'm saying, these are the things that I have done to really up-level myself to that next level of business that took me from I'm a general virtual assistant to I am Anna Schild, I'm a content repurposer, and here's why you need me in your business. It really took me to that upper level because it gave me the confidence to show up as that, and it really represented that online to where people see you are a professional business owner. And you have to think, okay, there's so many other service providers that people can choose online. So why are they gonna pick you? Why are they gonna trust you? Why are they just gonna meet you online and be like, let me give this person a bunch of money every single month and trust them with my own pride and joy business that I've built from the ground? So you really do have to present yourself in a way that gets people to realize that you are the real deal, you are legit, especially now with AI. You need to make them realize like you aren't just some AI deep fake, like you are a real person behind the screen. And so I love my branding photos. I have done other branding shoots since then that I've had just have so much fun with each time. And it's kind of like a little bit of a documentation of different seasons that you've been at in your business. So would definitely recommend getting some brand photos. Now, another part of the transition that took me from taking my business even more seriously was investing in systems and processes, because before I had been using different platforms for invoicing. Another platform was for my calendar. Another platform was for my contract. I had another platform that I used for onboarding forms and things like that. And it felt so confusing and honestly like embarrassing when I would go to onboard a new client. And that's not how I wanted to feel as a business owner. Like, if I feel like it's confusing and I'm the one who's doing it and knows how it's supposed to be, then it's 1,000 times more confusing probably for my clients, and that's not like the first impression that I want to make. So I had spent a lot of time researching into different CRMs and different platforms. I landed on Dubsado, and I have been using Dubsado for years ever since. And that truly is the one platform and the one thing that I could not function my business without. And it makes me feel, again, so much more confident and so much more like a professional service provider, because when I go to onboard someone, they get everything in one go. They get the contract, they get the onboarding form. There's beautiful proposals to send out. I'm not just like sending them a regular email or a Google Doc with text on it. Like, it is a custom, beautiful, branded proposal that I also think just gives another level of professionalism and another level of confidence of myself as well. This created just such a streamlined experience for my clients, also for me, because it doesn't take me hardly any time to onboard new clients anymore. And I'm also so thankful that I did this towards the beginning of my business, because had I not, I know I would have had such a big mess to like clean up and go through if I did this like halfway through. Like, if I did this at year 3 instead of at year 1, it would have been a totally different experience. So that is like my for sure main advice to you, is that if you are a business owner, you're starting your business, you're starting your virtual assistant business, I truly think a CRM is something that is worth the investment to pay for every single month, because it's going to make things on your end so much more organizationally easy and things on your client's end so much more streamlined. But the last thing that I want to share with you is all about just showing up and being consistent, because you don't get to year 6 of doing anything if you just like drop and you just fall off. And this was something that wasn't always easy for me to do. It wasn't always easy for me to sit in a room by myself and talk to a freaking camera. I still remember the very first day that I went to show up on Instagram stories and went to talk. One, I like had no idea how to work the thing. I was zooming into all these awkward spots, but I still just did it. And that's kind of the mindset that you need to have if you are starting your business. You need to show up and do the thing anyway, because if this is something that you are taking seriously, then you really do need to take it seriously. If you are wanting to grow your business and to become a successful business owner, you can't just like hide away and not tell anyone. You have to put yourself out there as well. So for me, that looked like marketing myself a bunch on social media. I also was reaching out to be on a lot of podcasts. There's probably about a dozen or so podcasts that I have guested on and been on. I've also guested in other people's memberships, and this is just from me reaching out. So you can't be afraid to network, to get visible, and to do all these different things. And showing up, of course, isn't always easy. Throughout my 6 years of business, there have been so many different seasons, not just in business, but also in my personal life, to where there's been times where no, I'm not super consistent, and maybe I'm just putting something out once a week, but I still get back up and I do it, because the only way to fail as a business owner is to literally completely stop. But if you keep going, then you are not failing. I'm gonna leave you with that there. I'm more than happy to go into more detail and depth into any of these things in another video. Because yeah, I mean, when I started this business 6 years ago, I had no idea really what success was gonna look like. I mean, surely I didn't start it with thinking that I was gonna fail. I knew that I was capable of doing so, but I had no idea what my life was gonna look like, and I had no idea where it was gonna take me. There I was sitting in a super tiny studio apartment in Stuttgart. Now I live in a beautiful apartment in Cologne. My husband and I are married now. All these different things and phases of life I've been through, all these different phases of business I've been through. And if you're someone who has been along for the journey at all, I so appreciate you. You have helped me to build this. And if you are someone who is just joining, then welcome to the ride. I hope when I'm here celebrating 10 years that you'll still be here with me as well. There really is just so much to wrap your head around when you are starting an online business. There's so much advice out there. And so I really wanted to provide you with the tools and investments and things I've done that I 100% can look back on and say that this really did make a difference in my business, so that you truly can start making your stamp online, planting your flag in the ground, and telling everyone about the fabulous business and services that you can provide. Also, I would love to know if you yourself are a business veteran. What is one investment you've made in your business that you know has made a huge difference to the success and level you've gotten to today? Thank you so much for chatting with me today, for celebrating 6 years with me. Like I said, I would love to have you along for the journey. If you aren't subscribed, definitely get subscribed, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!